So last night was kind of interesting. We went out to a field with a bunch of farmers and looked at corn plants and bean plants and talked about seeds and different varieties and this and that. And at the end of it, they took us to a really nice restaurant and fed us a bunch of food and had an open bar. I guess they want us to spend money. I didn't really do much video in there because farmers don't generally care about YouTube or maybe know about YouTube, so it'd be kind of weird to be walking around with a camera filming and talking to a camera like this. This morning we're going to jump back in on that combine. All right, now that we've got her out of the shop, who's a big dirty combine? I'm gonna grab the leaf blower and start blowing off. This is gonna be a very dusty and dirty day. These days start out cool, but they warm up quick. So the next thing I gotta do here before I can start washing is when I started it up, I noticed that, I don't know if you can see up in there, some stuff in here, which leads me to believe that there's a mouse that made a home in there. So we're gonna have to take this panel off and see if we can evict said mouse. It's not terribly hard, it's just a lot of screws. Yeah, I'd say there was a mouse in there. It's gross. No wonder it stinks in here so bad. God, they just destroy everything. With old equipment, there's really not a whole lot you can do to keep mice out. I mean, it's dusty, it's got remnants of corn and plants in here, and it's well protected for like mice if they want to try and make a house or something. They're pretty safe. And we've tried mothballs, we've tried we've tried traps, and they really, I mean, an animal that will live in its own feces and urine is not really going to care about a mothball so much, I don't think. They kind of seem like they work a little bit. I've also heard that if you can get really, really stinky, like low-grade fabric fresheners, like the crap you get at the dollar store, if they, just as long as they stink a lot, that'll kind of keep them away, which is kind of surprising. Last year we put mothballs up top to keep them out of the air equipment, and then I forgot to take them out, so when I turned on the combine and started working, I was kind of fumigating myself for a while until I realized what I'd done, because I forgot to take them back out. I'm going to let it air out in here a little bit, and I found this laying on the floor. This is the flapper that goes on, I think you call them flapper. It goes on top of your exhaust pipe so water doesn't get in there. While this is airing out, I'm going to go put this on. When I was a kid, we were running around with Grandpa on the farm and he'd start up a tractor. I always used to call these things the whir-whir, because when you turn on the tractor, it goes whir, 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 and this thing goes whir, 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 like that. So when I was a kid, I called it the whir-whir. Well, I think I've blown off about as much of this as I'm going to. You could keep doing this for a week and you'd never get it all off, but you really do need to blow it off with the air before you get the water to it, because that dust is kind of hydrophobic and you can spray it and it just won't move. It just sits there. I think I'm about as far as I'm going to get on that, or as far as I want to be on that for today. I'm gonna let this sit for a minute and take the, what do you call it? The water thing, the spray water thing. What do you call that? The compressor? No, the pressure washer. So in the meantime, I think we're gonna take the pressure washer down and get that thing set up, and then let this continue to air out, and we will hopefully get moving here on cleaning it out. I did take that one piece out of the roof. I kind of sprayed it down with some like Clorox. So last year when we were harvesting, Gary took over for me for a while so I could run home real quick. And something happened. I don't remember what happened, but he needed some tools. So he went into my tool chest in my truck and he proceeded to lose my ratchet 9/16 wrench. And apparently, somehow, I took that shield off on the right side and it was laying in there. I'm glad I have it back. It's kind of weird that I even found it. Brand new. Alright, well, I'm going to go up and hit the wheel of death while that thing is drying off a little bit, so it's kind of hard to see where you need to wash and everything's wet. It always looks good when it's wet, but there's more to do. So anyway, we're going to let that thing soak, maybe go let Morgan out. I'm so glad I found this little wrench. I bought this set of wrenches last year for my kind of mobile setup, and we haven't even used this. The first time we used it, we lost it. It's a 9/16, so we use those a lot. Picked up some of these. Seem like they probably smell pretty good. Kind of just smell like laundry, honestly, but anything will be better than what it smells like right now. I met up with Gary this morning. He has been indisposed of, is that the word? He has been busy for the last couple days with something he really can't get away from, and I think it probably should have been done by now, but he had to go and deal with that some more today. This evening though, they are having company over, and so he kind of wanted to get the lawn mowed, and I think he wanted to go play some golf, so we're gonna go over and try and mow up the pasture golf spot and get that cleaned up for him. So, well, it seems as though the lawnmower wants to fight me today, and I'm not really getting much done. I got it on the charger right now. I was thinking, I talk about these combines quite a bit when we're harvesting, and I always refer to them as side hills. And then I realize a lot of people probably don't even know what that means. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to try and do a little demonstration as to what the side hill does. And I don't know how well it'll turn out, but we'll give it a shot. Kind of explain what's going on. Basically, this machine is set up so that when I push a button inside, or you can set it to automatic, if you're going around the side of a hill, it curves like this, and you're driving, you're going to be driving following the terrain. But with this, the head stays flat and the body will be edgewise. You'll see what I mean in a second. The reason it does that is that so when you are leaning on the hill, if you didn't have that system, all your grain would go piling up on one side and then fall out the back instead of going up into the bin where it's supposed to. But they're meant to go level. So as long as you keep the body level, the grain should process the way it's supposed to. Now give me a second to get up in there and I'll show you what I mean. It's kind of a slow moving thing because they move slow in the field and you're moving a lot of weight, but I'll try and show you what I mean here. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about about side hills. A lot of people are asking me what exactly that is, and I realized a lot of people probably don't know. So the other variation on this would be just considered a land level, which means no matter how you move it, just like your car, if you drive on the side of the hill, you drive on the side of the hill. But if you have hilly ground like we do, and there are places that have far worse ground than we do as far as hills, but it just makes sure you are able to harvest as much as possible. She's an old girl, but does the job. Well, it's hot, windy, and dirty, but we got it done. I got the yard done, so they should be good for a little while here. It's so dry that nothing's really growing, but you need to trim off the tops of like the weeds and stuff that come up. Makes it look a little nicer, but man, it just blows dust everywhere. And that thing needs an alternator, so it's kind of a pain in the butt. All right, it's time for me to get out of here, and I don't know. Check you next time.